What's up guys, D-Libs here, welcome back to another Rainbow Six Siege video. Today we're going to be going over one frequent flaw for every defender in Rainbow Six Siege, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and start off with smoke. The main mistake that I see players make with smoke is that they'll use up their smoke canisters at the very beginning of the round. They'll see that they got wall, they'll immediately use them without really intended purpose. However, what you should be doing is you should be saving your smoke canisters until the very end of the round, and then you can deny the plant. You can also deny the late round entry. Pretty much, this just puts so much stress on the attackers, and they're not really going to be able to make a perfect push. And if they are able to push through, they're going to be taking a lot of damage while they're doing it, and you're going to be able to catch them off guard. So don't use your smoke canisters impulsively at the beginning of the round just because you feel like you have to cut off any early entry. Rather, save them until the very end, and you'll see a lot more success with late round and denying of the plant. Now with mute, I'll see players load into the round and they'll sit there on their phones scrolling through TikTok or whatever they're doing. Whereas they could be immediately placing their mute jammers down on important vents and doorways. Preventing intel in this game is literally the most important thing you could do on defense. Without intel, the attackers basically have no idea what they're going to attack with, and they're basically going in completely blind. Being able to destroy the attacker's drones puts the attackers at a huge disadvantage, and mute is a great way to do this. So rather than sitting on your phone at the beginning of the round, make sure you place down your mute jammers as quickly and effectively as you can so that the drones don't have time to set up an objective, to see what all the defenders are doing, etc. When using castle, don't barricade all of your teammates inside of the objective like how I'm doing right now. When I barricade this wall, then people aren't going to be able to rotate out of objective. Now there are some excuses to this rule. However, most of the time you really do want to avoid doing this. Yes, it does stop the attackers from being able to get into the objective, but however, it also does stop the defenders from being able to get out. So rotating becomes virtually impossible, which gives the defenders a huge disadvantage. Rather, castle should be placing these barricades on windows like this that lead to outside or other vital entry points that the attackers will come from, such as this door here that heads in from cache. Doing this, they're going to have to use up the utility to break up some of the soft wall to be able to get through. And, I'm still able to rotate as the defender rather than, placing one here where I'm stuck in objective for the entire round. The main issue that I see with Pulse players is that they'll go off-site with Pulse as they should, however they'll die early because they'll try some stupid C4 run out or something like that, or they'll go sit in a random corner of the map and then be completely useless. With Pulse, you should be sitting under objective or at least somewhere around there where you can rotate quickly. You are able to deny the plant and stay alive for the entirety of the round. That means that if you have to chill for a little bit and you can't engage in every single gunfight, that's okay. The entire point is for you to stay alive until the very end game, and then you are able to deny the plant, and you're able to effectively do this by using your shotgun and C4 combo from below and being able to completely cut off the attacker's push for plant. Now I'm 100% confident anyone who's ever played Doc has been guilty of this mistake. So you're Doc, you have an MP5, you have a 1.5 scope on, you have a really big ego probably, and you're engaging in every gunfight possible, and you're taking damage, and you're constantly just self-healing the entire time. Self-heal, self-heal, self-heal. Meanwhile, your Vigil or whatever it is on 1 health, and he's begging you for heals, and you're just sitting there self-healing the entire time. The support and the health defenders in this game are basically the cornerstone of winning any objective. So when you're Doc and you're just sitting there self-healing the whole time instead of spreading it out among the other operators, it is a recipe for disaster. It's really hard to mess up Rook, yet people still find a way. I know you're Rook and you don't really have a whole lot of responsibility in terms of setting up the objective for the round. Before you hop on TikTok for the rest of the preparation phase, put your armor down. The roamers are going to be absolutely pissed when there's 5 seconds left in the preparation phase and they need to go get into position and you haven't put down your Rook armor and then they aren't able to get it. Rook is a super great operator in this game, one of my favorite support and health operators, so don't take his ability for granted. Place your Rook armor down at the beginning of every round in a convenient spot so that all of the defenders are able to get theirs. When playing Kapkan, don't place his entry denials all the way up at eye level, because when I'm walking through this door here and I'm peeking, I can very clearly see it. However, if I'm placing it all the way down here by the feet as low as it can possibly go and I'm peeking, it is obviously much harder for me to be able to see that. As you can tell right now, I'm literally looking right at that entry denial that I placed at eye level. However, I can't see that one that I placed at foot level until I'm looking all the way down, and in most cases, attackers really aren't looking down like that. So place your entry denials as low as they can possibly go. Tachanka is one of the most underrated operators in the game at this point, and I see this mistake get made a lot when people are playing him. You have 20 fire canisters, and yet somehow people are still ending the round with like 12 left. Dude, if you're able to space these out over the course of the round when the attackers are pushing in, it puts so much pressure on the attackers from these vital entry points where they're unable to even push in. So if you're able to spread these 20 fire canisters out, like how I'm doing right now, it is really hard for the attackers to be able to do anything, to be honest. Now, yeah, they could walk through and they take some damage, but it probably wouldn't kill them if they're at full health. But it's not necessarily about the fact that the fire is supposed to kill them. It just puts on so much pressure, and it adds another level to the game where it could give the roamers enough time to be able to flank all the way around, or you enough time to be able to take them out in a gunfight when they're peeking you, rather than them just being able to peek every single doorway that leads outside of objective. Exhibit A for showing how good Tachanka is. I've been throwing fire canisters at these two doors this entire time I've been talking, and I'm still going. I'm just now about to run out. So if you're able to effectively use these as the round goes on and use your absolutely insane LMG that you have, Tachanka is really a huge difference maker. The issue with Jager is that people will place the ADSs down in really convenient spots for the attackers to destroy them, whereas you want to put them in convenient spots for the defenders to be able to defend the objective. ADSs, magnet systems, pretty much anything like that in this game is super crucial to being able to defend the objective. So placing an ADS like this where the attackers can't really see it, where the attackers have to be able to put themselves in harm's way to be able to destroy it, is the most ideal situation. Placing an ADS on the doorway like this, where the attackers can just see it from right here and shoot it, that's where defenders put themselves into bad places, because now the attackers took out the most crucial utility that the defenders have, and now they're able to stun it and throw their smoke grenades in or whatever it may be without any issues. So place your ADSs in strategic spots where the attackers are not able to destroy them, because they're such a crucial part of defending every objective in Siege. The most common issue with Frost players is that they'll place the welcome mats in spots where the attackers are able to easily see them before jumping into them. So you don't want to place them just in the middle of doorways like so. Place them at the top of stairs where attackers are pretty much completely hyper-focused on what's coming up next. So if an attacker's walking up here, they're probably peeking this, they're peeking the rotate, and they're not going to see it. They just walked into a welcome mat. Also place the welcome mats under windows, specifically ones that are really common for the attackers to run in from. So this window is a really common one. There'll be an attacker out here, and they'll push this. They'll hold this for most of the round, and then as soon as their teammates are able to push in from breach, they'll run in, they'll look over here, and then bang, they're dead to a welcome mat. So placing the frost mats at the top of stairs, under barricades, in random spots where they're not going to expect it is the most vital part about playing frost, rather than placing them in the middle of doorways where they're going to be really easy to see. The most common mistake that I'll see with Valkyrie is that they'll just place the cams inside of objective randomly. The point of Valk isn't to have eyes on the objective, it's to have eyes on where the attackers are going to be when they're going for the objective. Because by the time there's attackers in the objective, you're going to know it, because you're either going to be dead or you're going to be shooting at them. So you don't want to place your cams in objective, you want to place them around the objective. So if I place one on this light here in construction, I can see when the attackers are about to push into objective. We don't need to see when they're necessarily inside the objective. However, this cam will show me when they're walking into objective, and I'll be able to make that call or scan them so that my team can see. With Cav, I'll see a lot of times that they'll just use their silent step the entire round instead of, using it more efficiently and spacing it out. They'll just let it run out the whole time, and then it'll run out and they'll just keep running, and they'll go until it fills all the way back up, and then they'll use it again. Whereas instead, at the beginning of a round, you should be able to get into a spot where you can chill for a little while, and then once your teammates need you back in objective, or they need you to rotate in order to flank, then you can begin to use your silent step and make your way back around to the objective. objective. But you should go slow, you know, you don't have to use it until it runs out. Let it chill for a bit, walk slowly, let it refill, and then go. You especially want to use it on spots like that where you're vaulting, you're really close to objective, you don't want to let it run out now. You move slowly, you're in, bang. You're flanking. So don't just use your silence step the entire round, space it out, use it effectively, and you'll be a much more productive Cav player. When you're playing Echo, it is so important to stay alive until the very end. If there's an Echo alive until the very last few seconds of a round where the attackers are trying to get a plant off, and you're able to deny them the entire time, if you have both of your yokais out and you're, you know, using your Sonic Blast on them, it is so difficult to be able to deny that, and if they're unable to find it, then it's literally impossible to be able to deny that. So with Echo, stay alive for the whole round, don't do anything stupid, and then don't use your Sonic Blasts at random spots when they're not planting, because then they're going to hear and see the Sonic Blast, and they're going to be looking for the yokais, and then they're going to be able to destroy it, and then they'll be able to plant without a problem. So wait, use it at the right time as soon as they start planting, and then when they do, use it, and you're able to deny them for the rest of the round from planting. Something with Mira that I've seen is that players will just set up the Mira in the middle of the reinforcement like this, whereas they should start all the way to the side as much as they can, hold that deploy button down, and then slide over until the first available spot allows you to deploy. When doing this now, you're able to see the attacker right here and just go, whereas before you'd be in the middle of the reinforcement like this, you have to line it up and hope that they're still there, move all the way over, and then kill them. Whereas here, you're right on the side, bang, bang, bang. Now with Lesion, you should not be placing your goo mines inside of the objective like this. Goo mines are basically cameraless intel, so basically what that means is that you don't need a camera to be able to see where they are. If I place a goo mine right here like so, and an attacker walks in and they get pricked by it, then I'll be able to know that there is an attacker heading into construction from cache, and I'll be able to peek this, or I'll be able to hold this, whatever I feel is necessary. And I know this based off of the sound cue, because I'll be holding objective, I'll hear the noise of the goo mine going off, and I'll be able to peek this. Goo mines are not meant to kill somebody, they're not meant for damage, although they do provide damage as well. They are used for intel, so again, if I place a goo mine on these stairs here, and I hear it go off, I immediately know there's someone pushing these stairs, and they're probably trying to get the goo mine out, so I'm able to push this, or I'm just able to hold it in general. Again, it just gives so much intel to defenders, so don't place your goo mines inside of the objective, because this again kind of defeats the purpose. Same thing like we were talking about with Valk earlier. By the time the attackers are in the objective, you already know they're in the objective, so there's no point in you wasting your intel gadgets on that. With Ella, people will just throw their Grismots on the doorways and call it a day, go run, sit somewhere on the opposite side of objective. Now that is half true, because these Grismots should go on the entry points of objective so that you're able to take out any attackers when they are pushing in. You should place them strategically. So I know that this door doesn't really get attacked as much, so I know construction door gets attacked a lot, so I like this Grismot placement, and I want to hold on to one Grismot afterwards so that I can roam with it, and I don't think this is the second most attacked spot, so I want to place my second Grismot on the second most vulnerable spot of the objective, not just some random other doorway that leads into objective. So I like this spot because there's a lot of attackers that will run in from that window, and then as well as this one, because construction's a common spot that attackers will come from. Now I want to hold on to this Grismot, and this is because when I'm in a gunfight with somebody, so say, you know, there's someone on the other side of bar and I'm fighting them like this, if I'm able to throw a Grismot, it immediately catches them in their area and they will get stunned, and then I'm able to take them out while they're completely disoriented. I don't see enough people do this, even in the really high ranks. I feel like people should be doing this way more often than they are. I've recently started doing it, and it makes a huge difference. Whoever gets stunned basically has no shot, because they're not seeing this coming at all, because like I said, not many people do this, and they're completely disoriented, completely stunned. You're able to take them out. With Vigil, a lot of the time people who choose Vigil choose him just because he's a fragging operator with a really great gun. His K1A is really good, don't get me wrong, however he's so much more than this. He's basically invisible to all attackers' intel, and like how I said at the beginning of the video, intel for attackers is key. Without that, they're entering in blindly. They're basically playing Call of Duty at that point, because they don't have their drones on you, they're unable to see where you are, and you're able to take advantage of that. So with Vigil, let's say that this objective is on gym bedroom. I'm sitting on the opposite side of the map, waiting to rotate. I'm not going to activate my ERC7 right now. It just doesn't make sense to. There's probably not going to be any drones coming into stock right now, considering where the objective is. So I'm going to want to save it. Again, it's the same kind of philosophy with Cav. You don't want to waste it, because when you need it, it's really, really good to use in the right situation. But if you don't have it available to you because you let it run out, then it does no good. So at this point in the round, I'm not going to use it. However, let's say there's 35 seconds left. I'm flanking. There's 2 people left on the attackers, which means there's 3 people on drones, on cams. There's a flanking drone set up in cache, of course. So I'm going to be using my ERC7. They're not going to be able to call out. I'm going to be able to flank. They're going to be planting default plant spot, and I'm able to get the kill because I'm using my ERC7 and their drones aren't able to pick me up at all. So use your ability at the appropriate times. Don't let it just run out the whole entire time, because when it works, it's really, really good, and you don't want to be stuck without it. Now, Maestro is sort of similar to Echo. It's actually really similar to Echo. You want to place your Evil Eyes in spots that are going to be really useful to you, especially in the end game. So this is a really common spot that attackers will push from. Normally they'll push at the very end of the round and try to get a plant off, normally somewhere in this area. So if you're able to use your Evil Eye, you're able to see where the attackers are for a lot of the round in blue. Now, yes, of course, they can use an Ash Charge or whatever to destroy it. However, not all the time do they have anything to be able to destroy it. Now, with Maestro, you don't want to be tempted to take out your turret. Yes, it is a great ability that Maestro has. However, the risk reward isn't there, because if I open this turret and they're able to destroy it, we have problems because there's no more intel. And plus, it's not like it does 30 damage per hit, you know? It doesn't do a lot of damage. It is definitely useful when you use it correctly and they're not looking at you and you're able to close it up quickly before they're able to get a shot off. So with Maestro, the main thing is just don't be tempted to always open up that turret, because you want to keep your Evil Eye around for as long as possible, specifically until the very, very end of the round where you're able to deny the plant, or you're at least able to make a call out when they're pushing into objective. I see people who play Alibi just put their prismas down like this, and where this could be, you know, good if the attacker really isn't expecting it and they shoot it and they're spotted. That's great and all. However, people have gotten so used to seeing Alibi's prismas that they're not shooting anymore, and they know not to shoot or else they'll get their position revealed. You know, when this first came out, this was a really hard thing for a lot of people to get used to seeing, but now it's just people's second nature. So you don't want to place them like this. Place them behind unbroken barricades so that when the attackers go and they'll shoot behind the barricade to break the barricade, they'll immediately get spotted because of the prisma behind the barricade. So don't place them in open doorways like so. Place them behind unbroken barricades. People who play Clash tend to forget that they're not playing Blitz and that they are playing Clash. Blitz is great when you get up and personal into someone's space. However, with Clash, the whole entire purpose is to stay in medium range from the opponent. So if you're getting real up close with the opponent, they're able to melee you and shoot you. Whereas if you're staying medium distance away and you're able to shock them, do damage to them, they're moving too slowly to be able to do anything. You're completely delaying their time to be able to push into objective and plant and to win the round. So you're basically staying medium range away. You're not pushing up with them. I know as a shield operator, it is super enticing to want to play up on somebody. However, Clash is just completely different. It is just not the way that you want to play Clash. You want to stay medium distance. You want to keep on zapping. You want to keep them at bay. That's all you want to do. You want to keep the opponents at bay. This mistake with Cade basically defeats the entire purpose of Cade. I'll see people place the Electro Claws like this, and then the attackers are able to see this and they're able to go right under the objective, and they're just able to shoot it out completely. So if there's an Ash, they're just able to shoot this out. They're able to get the Electro Claw. Boom, there's no problem. The whole point of the Electro Claw is that it's harder for the attackers to be able to get. So you're able to place it in more difficult spots for them to see, whereas instead of, you know, the bandit charges that just go right here and here, you're able to place it at the top of their reinforcement, and then attackers below aren't able to stop that. However, the main issue that I see when people are playing Cade is that they're reinforcing the hatches, and you'd be surprised how many people I see place an Electro Claw like this and then call it a day and run back into objective. Guys, when the attackers run in and they're trying to get hatch, they're just going to be able to destroy this. So don't place the Electro Claw on the exterior of the hatch. Place it on the interior so that you have the complete advantage. They're not able to destroy it easily unless, of course, they come under here and they're able to shoot it out. But in most cases, the hatch would be inside of the objective and they're just not able to do that. So basically, place the Electro Claw in spots that make it harder for the attackers to get to, because that's basically the entire point of Cade. Mozzie is one of the best intel receiving operators in this game. You're literally able to steal the attacker's drone. So not only are the attackers losing intel, but you're gaining intel. So at the beginning of every round, instead of scrolling through TikTok, go ahead and place your pests down in spots like so, on top of staircases, next to the vents, on important doorways that the drones are going to go through. And then once you actually get a drone, go and place it somewhere strategic. So place it, you know, I don't know, right here so that you're able to see the stairs when the attackers run up, or place it in office so that you can see if they drop down from hatch. Again, with Mozzie, I know you have the P10 Roni, which absolutely rakes, and you have a 1.5 scope on it. It seems like just a fun operator that you can just mow down opponents with, just a fragger, but it is also a great intel operator. Please, please, please use the drones that you get strategically. Now with Warden, I feel like every Warden main that I've ever encountered is just sort of a spaz, and honestly that's nothing against them. It's not like I'm saying Warden mains are just absolute maniacs, but they're just constantly moving. They have some insane movement that's just completely over the top because it's Warden and it's an MPX with a 1.5 scope. And it's honestly really ironic because Warden is only effective with his gadget when he is standing still. So when he's moving, as you guys can tell on the sides there, there's just absolutely no significance that you're getting from having this on. So Ying's throwing her candelas in, or whoever's throwing their smokes in, you're holding it and you're going absolutely insane, and you're not able to, you know, you're not able to counter the candelas, which is the whole point of the operator. So as Warden, just slow down sometimes, really stay in objective. I know it's hard, but just stay in objective, use your gadget like how it's intended instead of absolutely going crack sometimes. A common issue that I see with Goyo is that you actually want to place your Vulcans down in spots where you can easily shoot them if there's a need to. Basically, as Goyo, you are anti-entry, so you don't want to place them in random spots that just make it really difficult for you to destroy them. So if I place one like this, and I'm at the end of the hallway and I'm trying to deny entry to someone who's coming in from main, and I'm not able to shoot this because I put it all the way over there, and then by the time I'm peeking over there, you know, they're able to swing me. You just don't want that. So you want to place it maybe more so like this so that you're able to get it from all the way down the hallway. If I'm the attacker, I'm not able to shoot that. However, it will be able to deny the entry if I'm all the way down here at the end of the hallway and I have a clear shot onto the Vulcan. So just place it in spots that are easier for you to be able to shoot them. You don't want to place them in spots where you're going to have to reposition yourself, put yourself in harm's way. The whole point is for it to be a really, really easy way for you just to be able to trigger complete denial to any entry in an instant. An issue that I see with people using Wamai is that they'll place the magnet systems in spots that they're going to hold on the objective, which is a great idea and all until you realize how the magnet systems work. That would be a really good setup if this were to be an ADS where it just completely destroys the gadget. However, with the magnet systems, if someone were to throw a grenade right here while I'm trying to hold this, yes, it would catch it. However, it would still go off. So you don't want to place your magnet systems inside of the objective in places where you're going to be holding. You're going to want to place them on the doorways far away from where you're going to be. So yeah, if the stun grenade gets thrown in there, it's going to be caught by the magnet system and it's going to go off, but I'll be all the way back here. Whereas if I were to set my magnet system up here and the stun grenade gets thrown there, it's going to go off right in my face and I'm not going to be able to do anything about it. Oryx is a really cool and very unique ability compared to most operators in the game, and it's a really great roamer to have. However, the biggest mistake that I'll see a lot of players make is that they'll forget to destroy the hatches at the beginning of the round, and then Oryx's main feature is not being used to its full extent. So at the beginning of every round, go ahead and destroy all of the hatches that you're going to want to climb up. So that doesn't have to be the ones in objective, you know, it could be ones that are outside of objective that you want to be able to rotate through. So if I want to destroy this one, I should go ahead and do that now. Whereas in the middle of the round and there's attackers in construction and I'm using my bailiff to destroy this hatch, that gets rid of the entire sneak, rotation, flank purpose that Oryx serves, which is basically the only purpose that Oryx serves. So at the beginning of every round, go ahead, destroy all of those hatches that you're going to want to use throughout the round to rotate. Don't wait until the middle of the round. The biggest issue that I'll see with Melusi players is that they'll put their Melusi in spots that are easily findable for the attackers. You want to place it in a spot that's going to be difficult for them to be able to see right away. So as soon as they walk in this door, they're going to get hit by this Melusi, and eventually they're going to find it, they'll be able to shoot it. But by that point, they're going to be already in the objective and Melusi'd for like 5 seconds before they're able to get it. So you want to make it hard for them to be able to get into objective and find it. So here I place it behind the bomb so that they have to walk all the way through the objective over to here to get to it first and shoot it, whereas instead of placing it right here, where they can just basically walk into objective, actually they don't even really need to walk all the way into objective, they're just able to shoot it right away. So you want to place it in spots that are a little bit more difficult for them to find, a little bit more difficult for them to get to, instead of just placing it in random spots right outside the doors where they can just shoot it right away. Because honestly, Melusi's Banshees are really, really good. They obviously used to be a lot better, but they're really good at denying entry, and they delay the attackers as well. And in this game, it's really important. Every second counts, so if you're delaying them just 3 or 4 seconds in the time that they're trying to get in objective and destroy this Banshee, then honestly that could be the difference maker in rounds. With Aruni, there's too many times that I'll see defenders just use it as if it's a barricade. They'll place it on the first door that they'll see as soon as they spawn in, whereas they could be placing them in way better places. So right off the bat, like how I said earlier, this window right here is one of the most commonly attacked points on this objective. This objective right here is one of the best when you think about it in terms of using Aruni. So you place one here, and then honestly, if I didn't use that one right here to make an example, I'd probably place my other two on top of the reinforcements on this outside wall. It's really, really good for delaying the attackers, which I talked about last round with Melusi. Any amount of time, and whether it's just a few seconds, is huge, and they're also using up utility to be able to get through. So you don't want to just place it on the first window you see. You want to make it strategic. Also, you have a literal like robotic arm. Use it. It is so good for making peeking holes, for making rotate holes, whatever it is, and it's super convenient. Use your robotic arm. Thunderbird's Kona stations are great for support and health in this game. However, the placements of them are extremely important. So it's not like Rook where you spawn in and you just want to place it down immediately like so. This spot would have no good use in the actual round. You want to place them in spots that are common rotation points for your teammates. So back here, this is a really common spot that defenders will, rotate around from. Normally there's a rotate hole right here, so they'll be going back and forth from objective. They'll go here, they'll hold blue. So honestly, placing two right here would be really good. They can get some quick health wherever they may need. Placing one back here just would not do any good. You don't want to just place it in a corner or place it wherever you spawn in and just call it a day. You want to place it in spots that are going to be commonly rotated. Now, Thorn's Razor Blooms are definitely not a great trap to be using in this game to begin with. However, if you are going to use her, you should be placing your Razor Blooms in spots that are going to make the attackers make a decision. So most of the time, this wall will get breached and then the attackers will make a move to run in. However, you'll see that they'll walk in and they'll immediately get trapped by this Razor Bloom, which means they're going to either have to run right back outside quickly, or they're going to have to just absolutely book it over to here, which is the default plant spot. Siege is a game about focus and strategy, so making the attackers think about what they're going to do in a split second and having to impulsively act on it fight or flight style, it adds another layer to the game. So when you place it here, they have to make the decision of if they're just going to run right back outside before it gets them, or if they're just going to sprint it all the way over here. Then that's going to cloud up their mind a little bit. They're going to forget that there is a rotate here and there's someone holding right here. They're going to have a clear shot on them, or whatever it may be. These Razor Blooms are just not made to kill people at all. They're made to just add a whole nother layer of protection, make the attackers make a decision. One issue that I'll see get made with Azami is that they'll use the Azami Kiba barriers like before the round is set up, which is right and all. That's what you should do. You should place them like this so that they have to crouch through and everything like that. It's great and all, but they don't use it during the round. So a lot of the times, you'll see there'll be vertical that the attackers are trying to push for, and then the Azami will just forget they have Kiba barriers. Don't just waste them all at the beginning of the round. They are really good when you use it like this, but don't overdo it. So what I like to do is I'll save one or two, probably two, at the beginning of the round, and then I can do that, and then bang, like that gets rid of the attacker's whole plan, So again, they could always just go again over here, but as I talked about many times, maybe they do just sledge this ceiling over here again. It's just a matter of delaying time. That adds on 6 seconds from when they do it over here. We cover it up, and then they move over here. This game is all about just delaying time. Every second counts. With playing Solis, it's a very similar situation to Pulse. you really want to stay alive for the entirety of the round, because with Solis's ability, you're able to see all the drones, the utility, the gadgets that the attackers are using, and you're also able to see when they are planting. So when you're able to do that, you know, it gives you such a huge advantage. When there's 3 seconds left and they're trying to plant and you're able just to take them out from underneath, it just changes the entire game. Whereas if you die in the middle of the round because, you know, you were trying to be cool with the SMG-11 or whatever, then it has no use of using Solis. So with Solis, you want to stay alive for the whole round. You don't necessarily want to stay under the spot that you're going to hold the whole round, because it's kind of similar to Pulse. If you do that, eventually they're going to realize you're there, they're going to hear you, they're going to drone you out. So maybe sit in somewhere that's more neutral, chill out for a little bit, don't engage in a whole lot of gunfights, stick around for the end game, and then you'll make a huge difference when they're trying to plant and there's just a few seconds left. Now, I don't have Fenrir unlocked on my Xbox account, so I'm just going to use Thorn again to show you guys, because it's sort of similar throwing mechanics. So with Fenrir, a lot of the problems that I'll actually see is that people will just place his Fenrirs right on the side of the door like this. So they'll walk in, they'll see it, and they can just shoot right at it with no problem. Instead, you should be placing them in spots that make it really hard for the defenders to see. So instead of placing one on the inside of this door right here, maybe, you know, place one in the corner right here where it's kind of hard to see. They're going to walk in right here, and then they're going to try to peek, and they're going to be caught by the dread mine, and then you're going to be here, you're able to peek them while they're being stunned by it. So again, instead of like placing one, I don't know, like this, place it over here like that. It's a little bit more hidden. It's harder for them to see, because as soon as they shoot it, there's really no purpose of there being a dread mine. You know, maybe place it in the corner here instead of just placing it there. Makes it a lot harder. Place one here so it's covered up instead of placing one on the side like so. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and press the playlist that's on screen now for other Rainbow Six Siege site setup videos, map callouts, tips and tricks, pretty much anything imaginable to be able to improve at Rainbow Six Siege. I probably have a video on it, so go ahead and press that. And besides for that, I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.